So for that, I'll take a small system, which we call it microgrid. So let us share. My screen is visible, I think. Fine. So now what you can see here, not visible. Interconnect them because all those have variable voltage. And by the way, the whole system is DC. So as the whole system is DC, so we are calling this one as a DC microgrid. Now, how we interconnect them? So if I talk here, this one, if you see, I can write here. So I have take the same picture in the PPT so that I can write here. So the voltage at the output of the PV is how much? This is 120 volt, around 120 volt. Because in the we have, you can see this is one panel structure, two panel structure, three panel structure. So three panels are connected in series. So individually each will be around 40 volt. So 40 into 3 as they are connected in series. So we'll get 120 volt. Okay. Now generally batteries are 12 volt batteries. We have connected 5 batteries. So this will be 5 into 12. It should be 60 in the ideal condition. But if the volt battery is charged, it will be more than the 60. So here, whenever we'll do the experiment, you will see this is around say 64 volt is the voltage. It's a little bit more than 12 volt because it is charged condition. So now you can see this is 120 volt DC, which we are getting at the output of the PV panel. We are getting output of the 64 volt at the output of battery. 5 battery we have connected. You can see this is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay. Now what we will use? We have given, ultimately we will give it to the load, where we have used simple lamp load, incandescence lamp, which we use normally. Previously we are used earlier, but nowadays it has been replaced by LED lamp. Okay. So this is the load. So to represent the lamp load, I have given a resistor here. Now how to connect them? Because we cannot connect this 120 volt, 64 volt and something, the voltage will be something else. For that we need a power electronic converter, which you are listening from the morning. Okay. So you can say this is one converter, this is another one converter, this is third converter. There are 3 converters we have used here. So let us explain this circuit one by one. So first of all, we have to sense the voltage and the current. So what we can do it, we can use it a voltmeter and ammeter. Now instead of using our mechanical voltmeter ammeter, we are using here voltage sensor and current sensor. Similar, the purpose is similar. Whatever the voltmeter and ammeter you have used, there also purpose is exactly similar. Similarly, here also to measure the battery voltage and how much current is flowing from the battery, that has been sensed by voltage sensor and current sensor. You will see all these things practically later on. Okay. Similarly, how much load it is taking, there's a voltage sensor and current sensor for the load also. Okay. Now the remaining part, this part is the converter part. This part. Okay. How we construct this converter? This converter is called boost converter. This is called bidirectional converter. Bidirectional. Why it is called bidirectional? Because it can flow power in bidirection in both the sides. Why it is required? Because this is the battery connected. So whenever we require power from the battery, it will take power from the battery. Whenever we have excess power, it will be given to the battery. Okay. So charging and discharging is a function which we have to provide. For that, we need this one, bidirectional. Next is the load here. Okay. So the load voltage here, we can vary whatever the voltage we can want. Suppose here we can vary from 0 to 220. We can vary this voltage. Okay, up to this voltage you can vary. Now there we have used a buck converter. Buck converter. Now what are they? What are the function of this one? The function of this one, before explaining the function of this one, let me explain one thing, that is that I have connected all three converters in the common points. If you see, this is one point, suppose this is plus terminal. This is also one point, this is a plus terminal. So this is common plus terminal, this one, and which is connected to this. Similarly, there is a minus terminal here, this one. This part is the minus terminal, which is this. This is the minus terminal. Okay, from the dots you can understand this part. And here we are putting this around, suppose say either 200 volt or 300 volt. Okay, you can put it either 200 or 300 volts. So this voltage is common throughout this part. The common bus. This is called DC bus, what you have heard. So now the first, there is a 120 volt. We are boosting this voltage to 200 volt or 300 volt or 250. Whatever you take it, you can take, no problem. Now this is 64 volt. So in this part, this will also be boosted to 300 volt. And here, this input is 300 volt. It is bucking to that 0 to 220. Whatever voltage you want to keep it, you can keep it. This control we have here. That is the advantage. And who provides this control? These power electronic converters provide this one. Now you can see, if you observe one thing, that this is a part. If I erase this part, you'll understand this one. Whatever I am showing here, you can see practically all those things. Whenever the demonstration starts, then you can see. Before that, I am just explaining the things, what you are going to see after some time. So this is one part you can see. You can get the similarity. This is one, I am just drawing this part. This is another one. This is the third one. Okay. So now this is called the IGBT leg. This is one leg. One leg consists of two IGBT connected with anti-parallel diode. Okay, this is basically two switches. Fine. Now, this point at the junction, this point, this is called the junction. We are basically connecting an inductor. Okay. At the junction, we are connecting inductor. You can see everywhere we are connecting the inductor at the junction. There is a particular reason, because the reason is that either this switch or if I'll tell you here, either this switch or this switch, anyone will be on at a time. They are operating in complementary fashion. If this is on, then other one will be off. If this is on, then other one will be off. So complementary fashion, they will work. Otherwise, what will happen? Otherwise, if they are turned on simultaneously at a time, then this will be dead short. The moment it gets dead short, this whole device will be damaged. So we have to take care of these things practically also. So there should not be any dead short. Fine. Now, the reason I was explaining that why we are connecting inductor here. The reason for connecting inductor here is that all the time this will be connected to this supply or the voltage. So the current will continuously flow through this one. This will not be open circuited at any particular instant. Okay. That is one requirement. Okay, now let us explain the converters. Fine. So for that, let me go out of this skirt. So now I have drawn here one IGBT leg. This one, what I was showing. This one we will see at the time of experimentation. Now, whenever this is timeless, this is nothing but a switch and anti-parallel diode. Now, if you see here in the MATLAB diagram, you can see here in the top, the first converter is the boost converter. In boost converter, there's the top, there is no switch here. Fine. So this is how it is constructed. So constructed with this structure is like that. So for boost converter, we don't need this. And which one will be input? This will be input, this side. So current will flow this side. So, and this will be output. The structure is same, just we are changing the position of this voltage. So this is the input voltage, this is the output voltage. So V out will be greater than V in. Fine. This is called boost converter, this structure. Now if we go for the buck converter, what will happen? Just opposite. Things will be remain same. What we'll do? We'll position the input and output voltage. What we'll do? This will take the input voltage. This is for buck. I'm drawing. And switch will not be here, but switch will be connected here. At the top, this is called top, this is called bottom. Bottom IGBT, top IGBT. Okay, switch 1, switch 2. So in buck converter, you can see the top switch is there, for the top position switch is there, but bottom only diode is there. Now let us see here in this diagram, in this simulation diagram. So this is the buck converter. You can see there is IGBT placed here, but there is no diode. Sorry, there is no switch here at the bottom. At the bottom for buck converter, there is no switch at the bottom, but for boost converter, there is no switch at the top. But in bidirectional, as we have to operate bidirectional, there will be switch for both. Okay, this is for bidirectional. Okay, so these are the three type of. So what we have done, we have basically connected the battery at the lower end side. So this voltage, this side voltage will be higher. This side voltage will be higher. This side voltage will be lower. So this will be battery. Battery will be connected for bidirectional here. Okay, at this point. This part will be common to all. Okay. Now the important part in the power electronic converters are the controlling. Means the IGBT converter, IGBT switches have the flexibility to turn on and turn off very, very quickly. That is the main drawback of our mechanical switch. In household, we use the switches, which is called the mechanical switch. By mechanically, we can turn on and turn off. The frequency of operation, that means the speed at which we can turn on and turn off a mechanical switch, maximum in 1 second, how many times we can turn on? Suppose once or twice, turn on and turn off. Okay. But this IGBT can turn on or turn off up to 20,000 times per second. You can imagine how fast it is operating. 20 to 25,000. times, turn on and turn off. So this is a very fast device compared to mechanical one. Okay. The basic operation is same. This is basically a switch, but the speed of operation is very fast. So how do we do that? Using the gate pulse, which is called PWM pulse, pulse width modulation. What is the pulse width modulation? You have heard these things earlier. Pulse width means, suppose this is one time period, this is the on time, and this is on time. This is the total time period. So this is the on time. So this on time of this pulse, this is called pulse. This on time and off time can be controlled. The way we control this on time and off time is basically done by control system. Okay. So this is pulse width, and this is called the pulse width modulation. Modulation means changing this one, the on and off time. Where we put this gate pulse? Here. At this gate, or this pulse has been given to the gate. So the moment it is getting this positive voltage, this will be turned on. That means this part will be short circuited. The moment it is getting 0 voltage, this will be turned off. That means switch will be cut out. Okay. So whenever the gate pulse is on, this will be turned on. Whenever the gate pulse is off, this will be turned off. And how fast this will happen? 10 kilohertz, 15 kilohertz, 5 kilohertz, 10 kilohertz, 15 kilohertz. This is the frequency. That means 10,000, 5,000 times, 10,000 times, 15,000 times. This is a fast. This is how fast it operates. How we'll do this? Using the development of the control system. Now, who controls this? Basically, let us understand the pulse width modulation part. This is suppose a triangular carrier wave we generating, and we are giving a duty cycle. This is the D. We will frequently talk about the duty cycle. You understand this one? What is the meaning? So suppose this is V1 and this is V2. Now, if the condition is that once the V2 is greater than V1, we will get on. If otherwise, this will get off. Okay, now let's take this one and generate the pulse. So whenever this V2 is greater than V1 is on, that means here we will get the on. Let us change the color, slight change the color. Let us see. You will understand very clearly. So this is on, and then this is off. Again, this will be on. This will be off. This will be on. This way, pulse width has been controlled. Now, who decides this duty cycle? That is the job of the controller. How we decide this duty cycle? That will be basically defined this part. Now, this can be defined by using the input-output voltage relation. We have talked about this input voltage. We have talked about the output voltage. Now, for buck converter, suppose say, what is that? What is that? That is the V out will be D duty cycle into V in. So D will be V out by V in. Okay, this is the duty cycle for the buck converter. Similarly, for the boost converter, we can design that similarly V out by V in, which will be equals to 1 by 1 minus D. Now you can find out the D relation here. 1 minus D we can find out, that is your V in by V out. So D, if I take this side, if we take this side, so this will be 1 minus, so basically this will be V out minus V in by V out. This will be D. So that is how we can generate the duty cycle. So basically, how much output voltage you want, whatever the input voltage you are giving, based on that you can fix up the duty cycle. Now, if you want to if you want to change the output voltage, basically what you will do, you will change the duty cycle. Automatically, this will vary. So that is how We fixed up the duty cycle. And once this duty cycle is fixed up, we give it to the triangular pulse, and basically this circuit is called comparator circuit. Comparator circuit. Why it is comparator? Because this is comparing between two signals. One is this V1, that is the duty cycle, and another is the carrier triangular wave, that's V2. This is comparing between V1 and V2. So this is the comparator, and it gives the PWM. This PWM is fed and turn on, turn off, then we get the output voltage ultimately. Okay, fine. So this is the simulation diagram we have designed here for this part. We have fixed up this the PV radiation at 800 watt per sorry, I have forgotten that unit, watt for something. I could not remember them. Now you can see we have designed the whole control system here. This is we have talked about MPPT. That is, this is the MPPT controller. We have designed this one, and then this is that I have told that PWM is generated. This is how digital PWM has been generated. Basically, same the comparator. This one is the comparator part. Okay, this is one per PW, one for boost converter, another is called bidirectional converter, another for buck converter. These three controllers we have designed. Now from the simulation also, if you want to, you can see this one. This is how it is working. I'll show you the results. Then finally we'll go for the demonstration part, practical. Okay, let me show the results, then I'll check this. See, this is one fixed voltage I have told you. This is how gradually this voltage is building up. WI m square, well, per meter square, possibly, yes. Possibly. This is the voltage of which point? This is the voltage of this common point, this point. This is the common point is there, no? This common point voltage I am showing now. This is the common voltage. I have fixed up at 200, you can fix up at 300 also, 250 also. It will not be much problem. Okay, now it fixed up, it will maintain this voltage. Next, I will show you that the PV voltage. Okay, it is 120 volt I have told you, but whenever it is MPPT, it is slightly less than this one. Previously MPPT part has been explained, that part I think this part was explained. The voltage will be slightly less than the open circuit voltage. So this is MPPT voltage we are getting. Next we will get PV current. According to the MPPT, it is the current, PV current. It is around 5.5 ampere. Now battery voltage, if I show you, it is getting higher because of simulation. Same 5 volt we have used, but we are getting very high voltage. But whenever we will use practically, you will see this will be slightly around 64, around this voltage, this part. But that is the difference of simulation and practical. How closer modeling, whenever you do the modeling, how closer to the practical we are doing, that is that matters. But in that case, we have taken the ideal voltage. That's why this voltage is very high. So correspondingly, obviously, the power will also be the low. Current will also be the low, so that it makes the power balance. This is the current, but actual current will be a bit much larger than this one. So this is the current. And this is the output voltage I have considered at 110 volt. So 110 fixed voltage has been maintained. So next, this is the current which is maintained at this one. Okay, according to the load demand, whatever the load demand, 100 by this resistance will give the current. So this is the simulations. We have done it. Now part of this one, we have completed the implementation of part of this one, not the whole thing. This automation has not been done yet. The manual control we have done it. There we are manually varying the duty cycle, but in this simulation you can see we are not varying the duty cycle manually. But whenever you see the experiment, you will see we are varying the manually. That is the only difference. This automation part is missing. So we are developing that part. Still, without that also, the understanding you will get it, how it is working. Okay. So I am stopping this one, this simulation part here. It will complete this one. So next we will go for the demonstration part. Demonstration is practical in lab. Now, till now, if you have any question. Watt per meter square, yes. Any question? Up to the simulation part. Next we will go for the demonstration part, same thing in the laboratory. If you don't have any question, then I will demonstrate and I will complete that part, demonstration part. Start. Okay, I'm stopping.
Okay, this is our boost converter where we are taking voltage from the solar panels, which is there are 3 solar panels around 40 each, so it will be 120 volt total. So that 120 volt is coming at this MCB. Okay, so now if we check this voltage, what is the voltage at right now? If we check it, let us check. It says we are getting around 116 voltages right now. Okay, so now we will boost up this 116 volt to suppose 180 volt or 200 volt around using the boost converter. So now we have to understand what is inside the boost converter. Now you can see this is the IGBT. So for using this IGBT, we will basically input the boost up the input voltage and the output voltage. Now this IGBT we control using the gate pulses, and those gate pulses are provided by this driver circuit. This basically drives the gate. This circuit, what you can see, this is the driver circuit, it drives the gate. Okay, and now whenever we control the duty cycle, we will show you little later how we control the duty cycle here. What will happen when we control the duty cycle, minimize or maximize. Now before that we understand the circuit here. Here you can see there are 2 sensors. One is voltage sensor, this is the current sensor. Both are Hall effect sensors. So this is the Hall effect sensor. Now this is output side voltage sensor. This measures the voltage and this measures the current at the output side. Similarly, there are another one set of voltage sensor and current sensors. This is input side voltage sensors and this is input side current sensor. This measures the voltage and current of the input side, that is the solar voltage and current. And then this is the sensor board. Now using this board we can get the voltage, whether it is voltage or current, we can get the voltage at 1 volt. This is set here. So now we will see how this circuit works. Okay. Now here on the DSO we can see the pulses which is generated from this control board. Now here we can you can see that we are controlling the duty cycle. Okay, let us Okay. So this is the total time period from this point to this point. This is the turn on time, this is the turn off time. So now we will vary the duty cycle. Now you can see we are varying the duty cycle. So this way we can vary the duty cycle. Now we will see if we vary the duty cycle, then how the output will vary. That we have to check now. That we will check now. And those duty cycle is feeding from this circuit through this wires. Here this is the ground pin from the controller, and the signal pin. This is the signal pin and this is ground pin. This is coming at the 5 volt. So signal and ground pin is given here in this terminal. This is the bottom. This one is for the bottom IGBT. The other two IGBTs are there. That we can see from here. Possibly I don't know whether it is visible or not. In this IGBT leg, the two IGBTs are there. So for the bottom IGBT, we will give the control signal, and this is for the bottom IGBT PWM pulses. We will give it. Now what we will do, step by step, we will turn on the circuit, and initially we have to maintain the zero for boost converter. Especially we have to maintain the zero duty cycle. Otherwise, what will happen, that it will start to build up the voltage at the output. To avoid that, we have to maintain the voltage duty cycle to zero initially, then we have to put some load, then gradually we increase the duty cycle. That part we will show now. Okay, now the circuit is turned off, so therefore there we are getting almost zero voltage. Okay, so this is the 5 voltage, it is coming. Now the moment we will turn on this one, then we will get whatever the output voltage, whatever the input voltage, that will come at the output voltage. Now we can see now it is the voltage is 114 volt, which is also at the input also. That input we can check it here. So at the input we can see there is that from the panel we are getting at the input we are getting 115 volt, 15.6, whereas at the output we are getting 115 volt, 115.6, 115 volt. So the 6 volt is 0.6 volt is the drop through the circuit. Okay, 0.6, 0.7 volt around, if there is a drop. So now what we'll do, now at the time let us show that there is no duty cycle. Duty cycle is given to the zero. Duty cycle at this point is zero. Now we will see what will happen if we turn on the light. Okay. The moment we have turned on, the voltage has been dropped to 110 volt. Now immediately if we turn on another light, the voltage has dropped further, 103 volt. Now at that time the duty cycle is zero. Now we can see if we increase the duty cycle, what will happen. So here input we can see this is 99 volt, but output is 107 volt. Okay, duty cycle we have increased. Now if we increase the duty cycle, so this is 106 volt. So here input is 106 output is 144. We have given load. This load is this is the load we have given turned on. So you can see there is a boost up has happened. Now if we increase the duty cycle further, so now it is again increasing. Duty cycle is continuously increasing. So it has reached 157 volt. So we have given 40% duty cycle. So as we have given 40% duty cycle, so we can see this is 85. Now at the output we are getting 153 volt, and this is the light glowing. So now if we, let's see what happens if we turn on this light. So immediately this voltage has been dropped. So as the intensity of the solar system is now very low, so this is happened. Now if during the peak time of the day, so this phenomena will not happen. Now as the intensity is low, so this is not able to take that much of load. It is not able to deliver this much of load. Okay, previously we have explained about the working of boost converter with the help of solar input or the input from the PV panels. Now we will explain the working of boost converter with the help of the battery bank. We have 5 batteries here in the battery bank. So output of these batteries or the battery bank is 64 volt. So now we can check the present output of the battery bank is 64 volt. Okay. This is reflecting. Okay, fine. It's understandable. 64. Okay. So this is the buck converter. You can see this is the buck converter which we are going to test. So initially we will keep the duty cycle 0, then we will go on increasing the duty cycle, and at the input we are giving the battery voltage, that is 64 volt. So at output maximum we can get around the 64 volt, not more than that. And if the duty cycle is 0, then we will get the 0 volt. So now we will show that how we are increasing the duty cycle, with along with that what is the output voltage, that we will check. Okay, now let us come back the structure of this converter. So as we have already explained in case of boost converter, that this is the IGBT leg. So there are 2 IGBTs connected here. Okay, this is the leg, and then now we can see this is the heat sink. This one is showing this part. This is the heat sink. This one, this is the bigger one. You can see this is the heat sink. Okay, now you can see this is the, so this capacitor is basically the output side capacitor, and here we can see this is the inductor placed. This is the inductor. Now here you can see this is the input side capacitor. So this is the input side capacitor, and this is the supply for the gate driver. This gives the power supply to the gate driver, SMPS. Now coming back to that, this side, front side. Now in the front side you can see, as I have already explained earlier, that this is the voltage sensor, this is current sensor, and this is the gate driver circuit. This is the gate driver circuit. Okay, and this one we can see this is the level shifter. Basically the gate driver circuit works in 15 volt, and but the voltage, the signal we are giving from the controller is either 3.3 volt or 5 volt. So this circuit basically shifts the level up from 5 volt or 3.3 volt to 15 volt. Now here this is the another side. This is the input side voltage sensor, input side current sensor. This is output side voltage sensor and output side current sensor. These two output side, and these two are the input side voltage sensor and current sensor. What? Okay, this is the basic circuit of the buck converter. Okay, so first of all, let us start this converter. So before starting the converter, we have to turn on this power supply for the gate. So now we have turned on the power supply for the gate. So at the gate, we are giving, this is the ground and this is the signal at the top IGBT. We are giving supply to the, we are giving signal to the top IGBT. Now you can see here, this is that the duty cycle is 0 now. So whatever input we give, we are giving 64.5 volt input, and at the output we will get 0. You can see here 0. Now we will turn on this switch. This means we are turning on the converter. Now we have turned on the converter, but there is output is 0 because duty cycle is 0. So now gradually we will increase the duty cycle. So you can see here the duty cycle has been increased. Now it is not 0, it is more than 0. So accordingly at the output we have got 45 volt, 45.9. So this is open loop condition, open load conditions. We have not given any load. So therefore once we give the load, this voltage will be reduced. Let us check that one also. Okay, now we are turning on the light, the load. So the moment we have turned on the load, you can see the light is not glowing, and immediately the voltage has dropped because whatever the energy capacitor stored, that energy has been drained by the load. But the voltage is such a low, so it is not glowing. So now what will happen? We will increase the duty cycle, we will increase the voltage, and we will check what happens with the load. So gradually you can see there is a illumination is showing. So we have reached to the 50% of the duty cycle. You can see this light is glowing, and correspondingly 64 volt is our input side voltage, and the output side voltage is 33.7. At the same time, input voltage is 64. Duty cycle is 50%. So now we will check if we increase the voltage little more, what will happen. Now we have increased the duty cycle little more, so voltage is 38, and you can see here, so it is around 60%, I can say, so for 55-60 around that. Now we will increase the duty cycle further to the peak, and then we will check what happens to this illumination of the lamp. Now gradually we are increasing from this voltage also. You can understand this is 44 volt, illumination also increasing. We have increased around 82. Around 90% we have increased the duty cycle. So now you can see the illumination is significantly increased. Voltage has reached to the 55 volt. So 57 will go up to 60. Let's see. We have reached around 60 volt. There is a significant boost in the illumination of this lamp, we can see. And now duty cycle is around 90%. Now if we hold it, you can understand this one. So it's almost close to 1, it is around 90%. So let's see if we increase one more lamp. So voltage has reduced to 59 volt. So it's obvious. So this is the second lamp also glowing. So this is how it is working. Voltage is 64.2 output voltage.
Hello. Hello. No one is there.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir, you are audible.
So
Yes, sir.
this is the demonstration part from the laboratory. So this is how we have till now we have done this part. Manual control we have done. We are developing the automatic control part. Means all the sensors will be taken, means processed. Then as per that, it will be automatic control will be developed. So this part we are working still now, and that's all from my side.
Thank you so much, sir, for such a great demonstration. Now the session is open for interaction. If anyone has any doubt, you may clarify.
Sir, is it possible to make the duty cycle 100%?
Yes, why not? We have done it.
Okay, sir. Thank you.
We have done it. Not shown here, but we have done it practically whenever we have tested.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So basically, that is how basically where here you have seen we have taken. Our plan is basically take the power from the solar to charge the battery or and supply the load. Now therefore charging and discharging the battery to give that protection part also. In addition to the protection part, means such that if the battery does not overcharge or it does not go beyond to the certain value, that is the threshold, below the threshold value, so that battery get damaged, we have to provide some protection. So that is called the battery management unit. So that battery management unit we are working. The moment we'll complete the battery management unit, immediately we can combine all three converters, and here I have shown individually all three will be at a time, it will work. So that is our ultimate goal, so that we can take power from the solar and work here. So any more questions? Otherwise we will conclude. Okay. Any question? Sir, why buck converter is needed? To boost converter provides greater output. Okay. See here. Oh, sorry. Presentation. Just a minute. Present. Here, suppose if here the voltage is 120, I have told you that this is the 120 volt, this is 64 volt, and we are combining at either 200 volt or 300 volt. Suppose 300 volt. If it is 200 volt, then directly we can connect a light. But if it is 300 volt, all the loads are generally rated at suppose 220 volt, 200 volt, like that. In DC case, most of the DC systems are either 12 volt or 24 volt, like that, or 9 volt this way. Suppose if you are charging a battery, then you require 12 volt. If it is charging a 24 volt battery, you need a 24 volt. So now from this voltage, this battery means I am talking about the mobile battery. Okay, mobile battery, suppose say 6 volt and 5 volt, not the mobile, in other batteries also, if you charge it. So there is a very 6 volt, 9 volt, 12 volt, and 24 volt. So different voltage we needed here. Okay. So for that, we have to buck or reduce the voltage. So if you need this is your requirement, then you need. If you don't require that one, you need directly 220, then you can directly connect to this part. You can avoid this. This is my question, answer. Clear? Hello? Yes, clear. Okay. So need based. Okay, any more question? Okay, thank you Energy Club for organizing this wonderful event or this workshop. So many thanks to the whole team, the complete team, for such an effort, putting such effort and to make this successful. Thanks. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Now let us come to the concluding part of this interesting and amazing session. Now it is time to offer our vote of thanks. I would like to request Anushka Avesh, Secretary of Energy Club, to proceed.
Thank you, Argha. I am Anushka Avesh, Secretary, Energy Club, Assam Engineering College, and I am here to present a vote of thanks for today's online workshop. At first, I would like to thank Dr. Damodar Agarwal, sir, Head of the Department, Electrical Engineering Branch, Assam Engineering College, and Professor in charge of Energy Club for giving us the opportunity to conduct such workshop. Yes, I would like to thank Professor Binoy Krishna Roy from Electrical Engineering Department, IIT Silchar, for giving such an intellectual speech. We thank sir for taking out time and for giving this knowledge. Next, I would like to thank Dr. Sabir Datta, Department of Electrical Engineering, Mizoram University, who enlightened us about wind conversion system, control techniques of wind turbine, etc. And I would like to thank wholeheartedly Dr. Soumya Samanta sir, Assistant Professor, Assam Engineering College, to give live demo for help, giving us live demonstrations and explaining us about different things. Next, help us making this event successful. Soumya Samanta sir has a big hand. The amount of time and effort you gave was commendable, sir. At last but not the least, I would like to thank all the members of Energy Club for working effortlessly and making this event a successful one. Looking forward for more such events. Thank you.
Thank you, Anushka Da. And now we are going to have a quiz. So I request Tilak Da to proceed. Yes, it's visible.
Yes.
So we have finally come to the end of today's program by gathering lots of knowledge. And lastly, I'd like to wish everyone a happy Holi. Hope this festival of color brings rainbow of blessings to each and everyone. Thank you.